And then the third thing, now you're going to find this interesting. Doing a lot of research, and this, I speak to this because I think I had COVID last week. The amount of people sick with COVID right now is actually through the roof. If you look at the statistics, the amount of people that have it is well beyond what was going on in 2020. But the news media is not talking about it. There's just, you may find a story here or there, but it's like a nothing burger, nothing to talk about, which says to me that 2020, they knew they were on the verge that they could push Biden over the limit, that they could get him there by their shenanigans, and they needed an excuse to do it. And they could do it. So they needed the panic of everybody's so sick with COVID. The fact that they have the facts to actually make the same narrative and are not, says to me that they know they can't actually repeat what they did in 2020. So I actually think they're resigning themselves to the fact that this is maybe an overwhelming force that they can't stop.
Well, that last point is interesting because when you think about it, with all the cheating they did in 2020, Trump actually lost the 3 key swing states by a grand total of 42,000 votes, of which he needed about 21,000 votes.
Yeah.
That's how razor thin their victory was, so-called, even with all the cheating. So now there's going to be a lot more vigilance at the polling places. Yeah. And I think you might have cause for optimism. But here's the other thing, though. He might win the election and not be allowed to take power. There are ways of preventing that. He has to get Congress. If he doesn't get the House of Representatives, and somehow, God forbid, the Democrats have even a slim majority, you know what they're going to do. They're going to declare him ineligible to hold office because he's an insurrectionist.
Oh, so they're going to have an insurrection to save democracy by nullifying a democratic election. I never would have thought of that.
And then, of course, there's the obvious go-to solution of a massive war, which they could trigger in Europe at any time. They seem determined to provoke World War III by getting NATO and the European nations involved in the conflict in Ukraine, which has nothing to do with American security interests. There's that. They'll do anything. And Tucker Carlson predicted this, but it doesn't take a prophet to predict it, that they will throw the entire world into chaos rather than let Trump be elected again to the presidency, with him promising to clean house this time because now he knows what the players are.
Well, and to be honest, that's what they did in Ukraine. They used a war in Ukraine to cancel elections. Zelensky has essentially canceled elections. He's conducted his own coup of his own government and established a dictatorial regime. So, again, not out of the question that they would use a war to, guess what, not follow the Constitution.
They'll need some sort of martial law scenario. Maybe this won't happen. Maybe I'm just being wildly pessimistic here. But, I mean, in terms of the vote, it does look like Trump, and this is according to Nate Silver's model, will win. He's giving him a 64% chance of winning the election, according to his predictive model, when you look at the swing states. And if he's tied or marginally ahead in the popular vote, that means that you can't win the Electoral College.
Yes.
Because if you're ahead in the national popular vote, which is irrelevant anyway, you must be ahead in the swing states. And without several of those swing states, especially Pennsylvania, she has no path to victory. So we may be seeing a win.